Hi everyone, I'm JD. Welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, there are many books in front of me on this table, and I will be sharing about how these books helped me through depression and anxiety. I think a couple of my subscribers asked me to share this, so I will do that in a series of videos. We'll see how long this takes. And if you feel like these may help you, I'll show each book and you can see the title and the author, and you can Google them and get them if you want. I recommend all of these. All of these definitely helped me. So yeah, if you feel like it will help you, definitely go ahead and get them. And basically for the month of July, I am going to be talking a bit more about my mental health journey to go along with my this is the month that I'm fundraising for. Oh, Keanu, my goodness. Woo! How are you? You come to say hello? You come to say hello? Come over here. There we go. Give me a bit of a shock then. Okay, hope you guys didn't get too much of a shock then. He just jumps up from this high shelf onto my table out of nowhere with a thump. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so fundraising for the mental health art book that I'm writing, where I share my journey through art. With the aim that it will help people not feel so alone, that they know someone else understands, maybe put some words or pictures to their own experiences, and breaks that taboo, and just hope that people can feel more comfortable sharing about mental health, that there's just no shame at all, no judgment, and yeah, we can all talk about these things. Sorry, my cat just lost my train of thought, but basically I'll leave the link below to Willow Bound Journals because there are some fundraising options in there of my artwork, and there is yeah, 50% of all Willow Bound Journal sales will go towards the publishing of this book, and oh, 50% of Patreon, the income that comes through there, will also go towards the publishing of the book. That's what I'll be raising money for this month of July. So I'll leave the link to Patreon too below. If you don't know Patreon, it's basically you get rewards for monthly support. So you get to see a whole bunch of other videos that I film. If you like my channel and you want to see process videos and just my thoughts and chatty videos, that's what's going up there. I try to post something every second day. There's also a bunch of freebies in the freebie database with lots of digitals of linens and other things that I make and find. And the higher tiers, there's also things like you get a digital kit from my Etsy every single month, and you get the stories behind my artwork every single month, and all this kind of stuff. So I think that was all the prelim stuff I needed to share about that. Okay, so let's see, where do I start? Let's just go in order, I suppose, or as close to in order as possible. This is the first book that really helped me. Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. Might be a strange choice. Some people might be thinking, why that book? But basically, Liz, I call authors by their nicknames. Liz went through depression at the start of this book, and she gave me words to really describe what I was going through, because when I first went through depression, I didn't know what it was, and I was really confused. And so reading her journey, it helped me to kind of put a word to it, to put a label or a name to it, which is just really helpful in itself, to actually know what you're working with. And she also went into the reasons behind her depression, and for her, she was having an identity crisis because she kind of just moved from partner to partner type of thing and found her identity in her partner. And so when she all of a sudden found herself alone and single, she didn't know who she was anymore and fell into a deep depression around that. And so it really showed me how what I was going through was an identity crisis, not because I lost myself to my partners the way Liz did, how she would morph into whatever her partner wanted or liked, that kind of thing. For me, it was more I morphed into whatever people wanted me to be, and especially my duties. So if I had a duty, I was that duty. It was like I lost myself and I became the duty, and it was all about just making people happy in my role and trying to perform really well in my role, and that's all it became. And so finally I had to learn that I am not my roles, I am not my performance, and it took a long time. So I didn't know who I was, because now that I couldn't rely on my roles to give me my identity, I couldn't rely on other people telling me who I was through those roles. I was all of a sudden going, well, then who am I, and where do I get my worth, and that kind of stuff. And I had to learn, yeah, I get my worth and identity. I already have worth and identity, regardless of if I have a role or not. No matter what my role is in life, I am a person. I'm created by God. I have a purpose, just as I am, as who I am, and I don't have to change into being whatever anyone else wants me to be. And even fitting into other roles, like people might think, oh, you should do this role, or you should do that, and I really see you here, and I'm like, no, I I know now enough where God calls me, and where I guess my fit is, I suppose, rather than trying to bend over backwards and breaking my back, trying to fit into all these molds. And when it's a wrong fit, you just feel, cramped, and it hurts because if you stay there too long, it hurts a lot. And that's what it was like, basically, when I just kept taking on roles. Hey, Keanu, how are you? Coming to say hello? Hello, Bubby. You good boy? You're a very good boy. You're a very good boy. I love you. Okay, so yeah, the main thing, that the way this helped me was to let me know that I wasn't alone in feeling the feelings of depression, because at the start I was like, what is this? I don't know what's this feeling, and does anyone else feel this, and I'm crazy, and what is going on? And so she helped me realize, oh, okay, this is okay. This is depression. This is what we're working with. And the reason, identity crisis, it was like, oh, okay, I know what I'm working with here, and now I can kind of move on and try to work out how to get through this. So that was super helpful. It was really comforting at a time when I couldn't tell anyone about my journey. I was too ashamed to, I was too scared to. It felt like Liz was a listening ear. She was like a friend, how books can be friends, simply because she understood. I felt like she understood me. She understood what I was going through. I'm a book reader. I love books, and I back then read books all the time, and I remember exactly how this happened, how I read this book. I was looking at my bookshelf, and I was just like, okay, I need to read something, because reading is therapeutic for me. And going through depression, one of the ways that one of the things that helped me was reading, because it gave me a little bit of joy in a painful existence. But I was looking at my bookshelf going, no, I don't feel like that, don't feel like reading that one, no, not that one. All these other books that had given me joy in the past weren't grabbing my attention at the moment, at that time. And what I really was drawn to was something where someone would understand me, and I knew that this book had previously made me feel understood back when I went through a quarter-life crisis. And Liz kind of went through a bit of a crisis like that too, and she helped me through my quarter-life crisis in a way back then. And this second reading, all I knew was that she comforted me back then, and maybe she could comfort me again this time. And this second time I read it, it spoke to me in a completely different way. Like, at the time when I read it the first time, I had no understanding of depression, really. So all those parts of the story I didn't relate to in a very strong way, I suppose. But this second reading, I was like, oh, I'm there, I'm with you. I totally get this. And it was just so comforting for me that someone understood me. So that is that book. And that's what I say is, like, I read a lot of books about other people's journeys through depression and anxiety, and that was really helpful for me, just to know I wasn't alone. Very, very comforting. Alright, so that's that book. Let's put that one away. Let's get on to this one. Let's just do this one. So, again, I was just reading another person's journey through anxiety in this book. And this lady, she kind of had anxiety her whole life. Like, she grew up with it since she was a kid. And this book tracks her journey of every single method she tried to help her with that. Keanu, stop that, baby. And so, yeah, it was really interesting seeing her experiences of anxiety and also her experiences with all the different methods out there. And you know, she was saying, yeah, this one worked a bit, this one didn't, all that kind of stuff. And it really helped me know that what works for one person won't necessarily work for me or you or anyone. And that was helpful because I remember other people saying, oh, CBT, it really helped me. And I thought, yes, CBT is going to help me. But when I tried it, it made things worse for me. It made me become more anxious. And I was like, what's going on? Oh no, is there something wrong with me? Am I doing something wrong? And I kind of had those thoughts, well, if CBT doesn't work and it's worked for all these other people, well, then nothing's going to work for me. But this lady, she showed me that, yeah, just because it worked for someone else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And it's just about trying different things. Don't be afraid to try different methods. If one doesn't work, move on, try the next thing, and keep trying. It's not like you're a failure if one method doesn't work for you. It's not your fault that it's not working for you. It's just that the method isn't resonating with you or connecting with you. And so that's what I had to learn. It wasn't my fault. I wasn't a failure at CBT. It just wasn't a method that really resonated with me. And then the other thing that it helped me with is towards the end of the book, she tried all these methods, and one of the last methods I think that she tried was called ACT, which is acceptance commitment therapy. And I've shared a bit about this before, but you know, I'm just going to go into all this again for my new subscribers and those who are interested in this book and my journey. ACT basically is about accepting the way things are and then committing to living the best life you can anyway. And that approach worked so well for me. Instead of fighting things and trying to put all my energy into fighting depression and anxiety and putting all my energy into trying to make it go away, I could just let go and accept the fact that, okay, this is part of my reality. This is how I'm feeling today, a little bit depressed or a lot anxious or whatever. And it's okay to learn to be okay with that rather than struggling and wrestling and fighting with it. It's just to be, no, this is okay. This is okay. And then to commit to living the best I can anyway. So what that would mean, I guess, I don't know, to give practical examples, what are some of my values? It's a very values-based approach too. ACT goes, what do you value and how can you live today according to your values, regardless of your feelings. So even if I'm depressed and feeling anxious, I can still create. I can still donate money because giving is one of my values. I can still say something kind to someone and say, hey, you really mean a lot to me, or when you said that nice thing to me, it meant a lot. I don't know. And I don't know, it just really, really helped me. And let's get on to this next book, this is pretty much all about ACT. So out of all the books, this is the one that I say is the most helpful. This is just, it's a toolkit. So another little tip that I learned was with my depression and anxiety, I can't remember which book mentioned it, but they said to build a toolkit up to combat it. And everyone's, yeah, okay. Keanu, oh my goodness, he just knocked off a shoebox of papers. Okay, hang on a second. Keanu, my cleanly nature really wants to tidy that up right now, but I will wait till the end of the video to pick all that up. Alright, let's ignore that mess on the floor. We'll tidy that up after. Alright, what was I saying? Everyone's toolkit will look different. Yeah, I used to think that if you've got anxiety, these are the tools that will work for everyone. No. You find the tools that will work for you. And this book pretty much gave me all my tools, or like 90% of my tools. So let me go through those tools. The first one, I think they have about, 7 tips of things that you can work through to help you. I think 3 or 4 in particular really helped me, so I'll share those 3 or 4. The first one is called Diffusion, and this is about the idea that when you are going through depression or anxiety, like, you can fuse with your thoughts and feelings so that you become them. So that's why I say, when I didn't just feel like pain, I felt like I was pain. I didn't feel like a tear. I didn't feel like I was crying all the time. Like, I was crying all the time, but I felt like I was a walking tear, like a literal, in a way, I was literally pain itself. And the idea with defusing is to separate yourself from what you're thinking and feeling, to know that you are a person and you are just having a thought and you are just having a feeling. And so, for example, as well, like, I would have the thoughts, you're such an idiot, you're the worst person alive. And I had to defuse with those thoughts. And this book gave me that tool, because before this book, I didn't know that I was fusing with my thoughts, first of all. And second of all, I didn't know that I could defuse. Because when you're in that headspace, all I could think was, yeah, I am the worst person alive, of course. Rather than realizing, no, that's just a thought. I'm not my thought. The thought isn't true. So when you fuse with your thought, you think your thought and your feeling is true, you think it's important, and you give all your attention to it and your focus. So the idea with defusing is to realize, to take a step back and go, hang on, is this thought actually true or not? Well, no, it isn't. Second of all, to realize it's not an important thought or feeling. It's just a feeling and thought. We all have feelings and thoughts, and they just come and go. We don't have to give all our attention and focus on it, which is what I was doing. It's all I could think about. So once I learnt that step to just defuse, so for example, I'd have the thought, I'm the worst person alive. And then I'd literally do the work of, okay, am I the worst person alive? No, I'm just feeling that and thinking that at this time. Okay, is this thought important? No, it's really not, because it's not a true thought. Waste of time to think about it. Okay, and now, do I have to focus all my attention on it? No, I don't. What can I do instead? And so this is another toolkit. Find things that can distract you. So even distraction, it's not in the book, but for me, distraction is one of the tools that helps me. Like, literally, distraction is a tool in my toolkit. So for example, to just get out of my own thoughts and feelings for a while, I could just read a book. And that's why I say reading a book was so helpful for me. It gives me a bit of joy. It also teaches me, but it just gets me out of my own head for a little while. Or if I'm reading for hours and hours, for hours. Things like just going to the beach. The beach was a really helpful place for me, because it just, I don't know, makes me feel calm and peaceful. For other people, it might be to go for a walk. For another person, it might be just to go out, like get out of the house, or talk to someone, pick up the phone and talk to someone. Or it might be to create something. So I turn to that one a lot too, just to draw and write and do stuff like that. Crafting, journaling. So distraction, watching a movie even. Do whatever you can to just get out of your head for a while, because it's not going to help you being in your head, listening to thoughts of you're the worst person alive, you're horrible, no one likes you, you're a bad person. That's not helpful. And so sometimes we're not strong enough to stop those thoughts in ourselves, and so that's why distraction becomes a tool. So just, well, I don't have the strength to just think about something else right now, so I need to distract myself by reading a book, or I need to distract myself by watching a movie. Yeah, so I hope that was kind of helpful there. The other step or tool that helped me was called expansion. And the idea here is that we make room for our thoughts and feelings. So it's not about getting rid of them again. And this is such a huge tool as well, because I used to fight my thoughts. Not only would I give them all my attention and believe them, but then I would fight them and struggle with them and wrestle with them and be like, oh, I can't have this thought. This is, I don't know. I was just like, especially as a Christian, I find, there's this idea, perception, what's the word, that, Christians should be the happiest people alive. And on one side of the coin, I totally get that, of course. But on the other side of the coin, we live in a fallen world. There is pain all around us, and we feel pain, and it is okay to feel pain and to express pain and to share pain. And so I didn't really get that though at the time, which caused a lot of my shame and caused a lot of my fear of judgment, because I was worried, you know, especially as a Christian, oh, I can't think this way, I can't be depressed, and, you know, I can't be anxious. And I was just constantly fighting those thoughts, trying to get rid of them. And expansion just says, let's just accept the thoughts. Let's know that they're okay. There's nothing wrong with you for having these thoughts or feelings. And let's make room for them. You are bigger than your thoughts and feelings. And at the time, I felt like I was getting squashed out of myself. I felt like my thoughts and feelings were pushing me out, that they were growing and they were big and giant. And all I was these thoughts and feelings, and I didn't exist anymore because they were just filling me up and pushing me out. And so expansion was about recognizing, hey, no, I'm bigger than my thoughts and feelings. I'm the one here. And they are the thoughts and feelings. They're just in me. They're a part of me, but they aren't me. And expansion, it allows you to just make room and accept them rather than fighting them and trying to push them out. You just go, oh, all right, you can be here. You're not threatening. You're not, like, that's another thing. You can think your thoughts and feelings are dangerous. You can think they're threatening and you can be scared of them. And that's what I felt. But actually, no, they're just thoughts and feelings. To recognize that everyone is human and has thoughts and feelings. It's just a part of life. Sometimes we have negative thoughts and feelings. And I used to rile against that. I used to fight against that. And then one thing I had to learn was to be human, just to let myself be human. Here I am trying to be holy, holy, holy. And I had to acknowledge my human side and recognize there is pain, there is negative feelings, and it's okay. It's okay to sit with them. And so the way I like to think of it by way of analogy is you're sitting in a room and you have a thought that comes in and it's not a helpful thought, it's not a positive thought, and instead of trying to shove it out the door and it doesn't want to get out the door, you can just sit there and it can float around. You don't have to pin it down and examine it and try to take it in on yourself and be like, this thought is so important, I need to believe everything about. No, you can just let that thought float around in the background and it can try to wrestle its way in, but you can just go, no, you can be there and I'll let you be there. I'm not going to believe you and I'm not going to give you all my thoughts, but you can be there. And you can be there for the rest of my life because you're not going to stop me, if that makes sense. So that's one thing I learned, is that, yeah, if I've had depression and anxiety for the rest of my life, fine, it can be there. I'm still going to be me, I'm still going to be okay, and that can just be there, and I can know I'm still loved, I'm still someone worthy and loved and with a purpose and a plan for my life, and, you know, God's got that call on each of our lives. And so I just was like, oh, what a relief. No more fighting. I don't have to fight against this anymore. And I can just accept it, and it just floats around in the background, and it comes and it goes, and it's fine. Okay, so that's expansion. Hope that was helpful. I hope I explained this okay for you guys. Hi, honey. Hi, Keanu. How are you, baby boy? Alright, so what else? The next one was values. So yeah, I shared about this a bit before. Values in that, yeah, regardless of if you have depression or anxiety, for me, I can still live according to my values. So first of all, find out what my values are. Second of all, go after them with everything you've got. That's what I did. So I literally just went, what are my values? And every single day I will live according to them. And if I can do that, at the end of the day, I can feel, I guess, okay with that day. Whereas before, I kind of just was like, this day is a waste. I just wasted this whole day and I got nothing done. And I'm a waste of a human, you know, like I'm a waste of space. But now I can go, no, regardless of if maybe I have a negative thought about myself and I feel like, I don't know. Sorry. I need to get a drink. I'm talking too much. So, yeah, occasionally, even though I don't struggle with depression or anxiety anymore, I still do have occasional thoughts of or you're a bad person, or you know, kind of those kind of thoughts. I think we all have those thoughts, regardless of if we have depression or anxiety. Occasionally those kind of thoughts will come in. And so if I'm okay with that thought now, I'm just be like, oh, okay, that's just a thought, it'll go. And I can, even if that thought stays there just in the back of my mind, I can still do what I feel I am called to do today. That kind of thing. So that's values. The second one is, the fourth thing, the last thing, is just to simply ask, what is helpful? Oh my gosh, this question is the best, and I recommend it for anyone, for anything. So I use it in my life just all the time, for anything. For example, is it helpful that I am calling myself an idiot right now? No. So what is more helpful? Okay, maybe it's distraction, if I need to be distracted. Maybe it's creating something. Maybe it's living according to this value. Maybe it's just, if you're like strong enough in yourself and have that tool, that skill that you've built up over time, I can now just go, okay, I can stop that thought. It's maybe as simple as that. So just think about something else. Because I know it's not important, and I know it's not true, and so I can stop it. So what's another one? Is it helpful that I'm worrying about what this person thinks of me? No. What can I do instead? Be myself anyway. Who cares what that person thinks? I don't even know what they think anyway. I can't assume. And even if they think I'm the worst person alive, well, I still know I have worth, I have my identity and dignity in God, and I'm just going to do what I feel I am called to do today, and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. That kind of thing. So what is helpful is just the most helpful question ever. Like, day by day, what is the most helpful thing for me to do today, this second, this moment? Yeah, I also just wanted to go back to values, sorry, because there's this other analogy that when you are depressed and anxious, I felt like I was, the analogy they give in the book actually is you're in a boat and you're drifting out at sea and you can't see land anywhere, and that's what I felt like. You're just on this boat with all these horrible thoughts and feelings and you can't see any dry land, and you're just like, you're stuck out there forever with these thoughts and feelings. And values, what that does is it says, alright, let's point at something. Let's point at what you value and go after it, simply by acting according to your value. And all of those thoughts and feelings, they can stay. They can stay on the boat. You don't have to get rid of them. They can stay on the boat because you can still go according to your value. And that was really helpful. So if I want to go somewhere, I just point at my value and then I go. And it doesn't matter if the depression and anxiety follows, that's fine. They can come too. But I'm still going to go somewhere. I'm still going to meet this, go ahead with this value of mine. Alright, I hope that made some sort of sense. My camera's going to run out, so I'm going to stop it here, and then I'll pick up where I left off and continue with this series and hope that it is helpful. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye. Oh, hang on, wait a second. I've got one more minute to chat. If you have any questions about my journey, or if I didn't explain anything well enough, or you just want me to elaborate on something, just let me know in the comments. I'm happy to chat more about my journey, and if you feel more comfortable emailing maybe, or sharing your own journey, feel free to do that too. And yeah, just want to give that opportunity. So yeah, okay, thanks guys for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.